Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to talk about Giga Castings and repairs. But first, Casey's going to roll that title card.
Smash 'em up derby. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. Got a really fun topic that was not much information when it started, but now we've got some repair companies that are starting to chime in and let us know what the real status of Giga Castings are when it comes to repairs. So
To be fair, it ended up being pretty much exactly like they told us, though.
That's
even
true.
though they didn't describe it.
Yeah. So when Giga Castings started, of course, that was the ability to put a lot of parts that are attached separately to each other to make a structure into a single injection poured mold that quickly cools and becomes a rigid single part. So you can have multiple Giga Castings. Yes, you can have 3, you can have 4. But when it came to the Model 3 originally, that vehicle had like 170 some different parts that were put together in the rear quarter of the car in order to form the trunk, the sub trunk, the sides that went out to the fenders and such. All these different parts riveted, welded, screwed together, glued together. Every imaginable way to fasten these things was being done to attach these 170 parts and make it a solid rear of a car. So when Giga Castings came out, the thought was we get rid of the 170 parts. We produce a new type of metal that will dry quickly and not crack or warp. And it's poured into an injection mold. It's held there quickly, and within a second or less, it pops out as a solid structure, a single. So it helps, of course, with the manufacturing of the car immensely because you're not putting together multiple parts. You're not gluing, you're not riveting, you're not welding, you're not, cutting off your finger and getting somebody else in there to do it because you've lost a finger.
Oh, no.
All those things go away typically.
As well as the rework when you have to realign panel 7 and number 800.
That's right. That's right. But the unknown part was that once these cars get on the road and they are involved in accidents, the question is a slight fender bender now become a very costly adventure because now you have to replace a single large Giga Casting part as opposed to maybe you could get away with 3 or 4 small parts.
And so that was what they told us, what the naysayers told us. Oh, well, now you got to replace the whole rear end of the car. And Musk and the engineers were telling us, no, you just cut off the bumper crash absorption, energy absorption tusk and throw it away, and you weld on a new one, and then you put the skin back on. And people are like, no, it can't possibly be that way because now you've got to weld on it and blah, blah, blah.
Right. If you had just naively done a Giga Casting, sure, that would have been a horrible repair job. You'd have to replace a quarter of the car for any little fender bender. Yeah. But guess what? Tesla has engineers who think about things and that's part of the problem solution space that they have to deal with is, okay, how do we repair these cars? So it's like designing software. You start with usability and then you make your design. If you try to throw usability on after the fact, it's going to be kludgy, right? Yeah, so if you do this and you think about repairability, maintainability from the get-go, and you design with those constraints and all those considerations, you can actually get to a really cool product.
Yeah. All right, Mark, tell us how it really went down versus how people looked at it and assumed it would go down.
So what happened was that as these cars started to come in for the inevitable repairs that were happening as people got into accidents, is that the repair companies were finding that there was a whole lot less muss and fuss when it came to replacing the parts. Whereas before you would find that a single part that you had to replace was being affected by 3 others that also had bent during the accident. it had to be realigned, and then you figure out, oh, it can't be realigned. I got to order another new small part to add to the original part that I thought was only required. But no, I've got 2 others I got to do this for. So they were finding that there was time delays. There were, of course, part delays in getting it because you thought you had everything to go, and then when you got involved with it, you got neck deep into it, you realized that I had to order more parts. And what happens, of course, with the single part is that, as mentioned, there could be a crumple zone that all it has to be do is cut off and added the new crumple zone to the original Giga casting part, and you're fine to go. But if it was something that was more intense and would affect multiple parts, then yeah, you could order the Giga casting, but you immediately eliminated all the fussing and finessing trying to get the part in because other parts were bent. You're now working with a completely new structured 2-spec part that would just slip in fine with the connectors to the existing parts that have not been damaged, and immediately you've got something that's all in spec to work with going forward.
Yep. And that saves time, saves money, all kinds of labor, and rental car fees, or customer walking around getting pissed off at you. So if you look at the channel Zach's Jerry Rig Everything, they did a torture test on their Cybertruck and destroyed the rear end of the vehicle. They were sure it was going to be like a $20,000 repair and take 12 weeks easily. Tesla had already thought of that. They had the same adhesive solution that they use right there at the factory for other pieces. They had the SOP, the standard operating procedure, tell you how to do the repair. Right, cut it at section 7, and then cut the new piece at section 6 because you need a bigger piece than just the crash tusks. And move these items. These items are one-time use, so you need to have them again. They're already in the kit. You just need to attach them to the piece. Let it cure overnight, paint this, slap that back on, good to go in the morning, or 3 days instead of 30 days. And it's not just him, and it's not just because he was a YouTuber. There were plenty of other cases like this where you had rather major repairs being done super quickly. And I breezed through an article this week that suggested that now that they've proven they can do this time and again, it's time for the insurance companies to adjust because
good point.
They're not being
taxed as much as they were. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They're being taxed and feed and they're putting less out on those rental cars. Like, all right, we've allocated for you to have 30 days of rental cars per crash, and you're only using 2. All right, that's good. And we have allocated $20,000, and it's only been 11.
So get this: these studies that were done in Europe was showing that on a partial repairs on a Model Y's rear Giga casting, it resulted in savings of about 2,000 pounds or $2,700 compared to similar repairs on a Model 3 that did not have the Giga casting in the rear end. So that's a significant difference. And time-wise, there was a difference as well. They shaved off a number of hours, if not a day or two, based on the part availability and how quickly they could get things to the shop for the repair.
Yeah, here's the part of the article that I liked. Numerous parts creates numerous potential failure points and connections between parts. Giga castings, by contrast, drastically reduce the number of individual parts. Tesla's approach simplifies the vehicle body into few large structural robust segments. This means fewer parts, so less labor, fewer welds, faster production lines, even during initial assembly. So the same things that make it good for assembly also make it good for repair.
Because you're disassembling and then reassembling it. Go figure.
Exactly. Yeah, and they have a term in here I hadn't heard before called Giga Cast sectioning. Yes. So they actually, so that's kind of what you talked about with the Cybertruck, Casey, where they get the whole Giga Cast, and then they look at where they cut, and then they say, okay, well, we need that same piece from here, and with some attachment sections, and so they can just take a GigaCast, slice it, and snap in the piece that you need.
Yeah. And then you can send the rest back for recycling if they sent you too big of the. Because like I'm sure even if you don't need the whole GigaCast, they're gonna send you more than you need. But let's say they sent you the whole GigaCast because it was just more convenient. Like say you're a high volume shop,
Right.
you got a crate full of cut up GigaCasts. They can melt them down, turn them back into GigaCasts. I'm sure there's a nice little I forget what they called it.
Scrap program.
Well, the scrap, yeah, but there's a core return fee. So
Oh.
as you return the rest of the GigaCast, including the mangled one, you get a little bit of a pretty penny back. So you're not sitting on too
core
much in
return.
inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah, core return. Yeah, and I speculate that they are going to find that their satisfaction with the repairs is going to be higher than the old way as well. Just because, again, it's more rigid and it's less parts, less time, and less tweaking. Like sometimes you'll find a car that's repaired perfectly to spec, but now it drives a little sideways. Not with Tesla, but in the past with other vehicles, you could have it too spec and it not really be good. All of a sudden now the car's eating tires every 25,000 miles instead of every 50, and it's not just the alignment. And well, it's good. What do you want us to do? Because the insurance companies, they want to save money, and so they would find folks that were certified, and well, they weren't necessarily always the most enthused about getting it. Like the spec says 0, they weren't necessarily trying to get it to 0.00. They were just like, it says -2 to +2, and we got it at 1.7. We're good. And then each of them is 1.7 a different way.
Right.
Well,
yeah. And like Mark said, when you have a whole lot of pieces and some of them are going to get torqued and moved and bent and they look fine, but they're off by an inch here or a centimeter there, and it adds up.
Yeah, it was called stack up. As all those various tolerances stack up together, your stack up gets worse.
Yeah, pushes the variant off as you the more that you add to the puzzle. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is good. Again, we didn't have this information at the beginning because, of course, you had to get these vehicles out into their normal life cycle, and there were going to be accidents that were going to happen. And then, of course, you'd start to get repair shops on board, ordering the new parts, understanding, as Casey mentioned, the segments and what they can do and what they can't do. So again, a bit of a learning curve had to happen. But now you're at a point where this seems to be operating at a better clip than previously. So as mentioned, $2,700 US on a rear repair is quite a bonus to an insurance company, and hopefully that will reflect in the premiums as time goes along too.
Oh yes. My Model S was in a crash, and they thought it was going to be really expensive. And this was not a GigaCast car by any means. And it came out to be, it wasn't a certified shop, so it was even cheaper than it could have been. I think it came out to be like $2,500 for rear crush structure and a bumper cover and the hangers and paint and a couple other things for that. They were surprised on an aluminum car. It was an aluminum car shop like Jaguars and Land Rovers, and they're like, "There's no way." And, what? So imagine if they had been familiar with the sectioning technique and had that car been able to qualify for it. So I'm not going to say that everybody out there was a fudster and had malice in their hearts when they said, "Oh, this can't be done. They're talking nonsense. This one piece has to be replaced." There's going to be a combination. You're going to have the folks who, again, we hadn't seen this before, so they're going on what they know. Then you have the folks who are just going by gut, like they look at it and, oh, common sense says this, and you look and it's like, well. And then there's the folks that say, all right, well, this guy is always just saying stuff, and he says a lot of stuff, but some of it's either very accurate or just kind of aims straight on to true. And then there were the actual fudsters and people trying to tank the stock, and I think those might be the ones that we're still hearing from today. But I don't want to say that everybody who warned us this new thing is terrible. I don't think that they all had malice in their hearts. They had a genuine concern, and then a small minority of them did want to see your investment tank.
Yeah.
Either you bought the car or you bought the stock or both.
That hasn't worked out well.
Right.
So now it's time to turn it around to the audience. What do you think? Have you had any experience with a car that's gone through some sort of a repair? Do you have a Giga Casting? Do you not? Was it expensive? Was it reasonable? Let us know in the comments about your personal experience with a Tesla repair and what your situation was. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm curious now if some of those carriers, they did the what's going on in kind of in Florida and California, and they just kind of pulled up sticks and left the customers. Oh, you got Tesla? Bye. I wonder if any of them come back now they realize, oops, we made some of them same assumptions and they were wrong. I don't know that they'll necessarily get the customers back unless it was like a pure cost play on some of the customers' part. Like, oh wow, you're $9,000 cheaper than those guys. I'll do it. But like, oh, you're gonna save me $20 a month and you treated me like that? I'm gone for life.
Oh yeah, these insurance companies, they are bean counters, right? So now that they see it, these kind of reports make a difference, and it could determine whether or not they cover vehicles that they in the past were worried about. They didn't have the data, they didn't want to take the chance because they're risk averse. But now they have the data, and if they know these are repairable at an economical, affordable cost, then they can charge a reasonable rate and make money on it. They're going to do it.
Yeah. So that's another question for you. If you're shopping or if your carrier is one of the ones that is reactive in pricing, do you see any changes? Did they go up? Did they go down? Or were you at one of those places that dropped you like a can of bricks? And have they come crawling back yet? Hey, you were so good with us at XYZ carrier. We'd like to have you back. And what did you tell them?
Yeah, I want to know. Tell me in the comments.
Absolutely. With that, let's go to shoutouts. Casey, what do you got for us?
Tesla Life Express, do it up. Set the bell. You'll never know how many of these will do, and you could always be surprised. And of course, you've already seen one. It was out of sequence, but some folks had the bell on, and you saw them in the live chat. Others, they didn't notice, and then you caught them in the comments after the fact. We like both places, so don't go away if you're there's not one place is better than the other, but it's kind of fun to do it live with other people, just like when we're live on the stream. Catch me over at youtube.com/Casey Green or x.com/gcustom for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends on Sundays at 1:20 Eastern. And we'll catch you back here on the rest of the Tesla Life Express and again live on the live show.
Very good. Patrick, any shout outs from you?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels.
Very good. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Come back, and together we'll find out next time what's happening in the Tesla life. Balloons.
Yeah.